speak upon the executive summary, this paper will offer a strategic analysis of a leader in a North American ride-hailing company, which is Lyft. So this company runs across a variety of operational challenges as it tries to manage a competitive and changing transportation environment. Now, two important points of contention in the article include the company's rather poor worldwide footprint when compared to competitors such as Uber, and the legal and regulatory pressure in the American political scene. By means of the institution-based perspective, the research explores both internal capacity through the resource-based view and external institutional forces which impact Lyft's actions. The paper will also look at the company's merger and acquisition activity, along with the overall strategy given its turn towards a more asset-light and autonomous future. Now, our advice calls for strategic alliances to increase world growth, boosting regulatory lobbying actions, and employing technology tools to better competitive positions. This study is supposed to assist Lyft to create long-term differences and accomplish sustainable development in an ever-changing global industry. To give an overview of Lyft, along with the strategic context, it was founded in 2012 by Logan Green and John Zimmer. It is headquartered in San Francisco, California. It was initially launched as a peer-to-peer ride-sharing company in order to reduce car ownership and promote shared mobility. It evolved into a diversified mobility platform, including public transportation, car rentals, even bikes and scooters, along with partnerships with autonomous vehicle companies. Now, the app highlights are that it's user-friendly, has an emphasis on social responsibility, and has millions of users, which are primarily in North America. Now, Lyft has a North American focus and includes transportation as a service. Uber, they focus on global expansion with food delivery such as Uber Eats and travel services. Lyft's focus strategy streamlines operations, but it limits growth and market share. Now, the profitability concerns are that it's not consistently profitable as of 2023, and it raises concerns about long-term sustainability. Moving on to legal risks, strategic pivots, and the future outlook, some regulatory challenges include the ongoing debate over driver classifications, which is employee versus a contractor. The CA's AB5 and Prop 22 set national precedent. Prop 22 upheld contractor status, but uncertainty remains. Along with the ever-evolving regulations, raise compliance costs and affect operations. Now, some strategic pivots, including 2021, is a solid Level 5 AV unit to Toyota's Woven Planet. Now, a shift to capital-light, partnership-driven innovation, along with focus on efficiency and cost reduction. Some future differentiation strategies include to enhance local services, invest in sustainability, and expand its loyalty programs. Now, a key strategic question can these strategies enable sustainable growth along with profitability? Now, the strategic framework, we have a resource-based view and an institution-based view, and to evaluate Lyft's internal resources and external institutional pressures. The paper focus area will be on resources, partnerships, and competitive positioning, along with legal, political, and social factors which shape strategy, and last but not least, merger and acquisition activity, corporate direction, and market entry strategy. Now, the final goal is to provide actionable recommendations for overcoming geographic market limitations, navigating legal and regulatory risks, and finally, assembling Lyft's long-term viability. So let's get into these.
The key issues we would like to discuss are 4 operational challenges Lyft currently faces. The first being legal and regulatory challenges in the sharing economy. The second being resource and capability limitations compared to the competition. The third being market selection and entry mode choice. And the fourth and final, firm strategy.
Issue number 1, legal and regulatory challenges in the sharing economy. One of the most pressing issues facing Lyft is the growing legal and regulatory scrutiny of its sharing economy business model. As a platform that relies heavily on independent drivers, Lyft's operations are constantly threatened by legislative initiatives seeking to reclassify these workers as employees. In particular, the state of California introduced the AB5 law, which redefines the criteria for classifying workers as independent contractors. Although Lyft and other companies in the sector invested heavily in campaigns to pass Proposition 22 and maintain their model in California, similar legislation is being discussed in other states such as New York and Massachusetts. From an institution-based view, these developments reflect how formal institutions, like laws and regulations, influence the company's strategic decisions. Furthermore, the Pestel analysis highlights the legal component as a key factor in Lyft's macroeconomic environment. If Lyft is forced to reclassify its drivers as employees, labor costs would increase significantly due to the inclusion of payroll taxes, health insurance, and other benefits. This would directly impact the company's cost structure and profitability. Furthermore, the more complex and expensive employment model could discourage new drivers from joining the platform, reducing the supply of rides. Issue number 2, resource and capability limitations compared to the competition. Another critical problem facing Lyft is its resource and capability disadvantage compared to its main competitor, Uber. While Uber has managed to expand globally and diversify its operations into sectors such as food delivery, freight transportation, and autonomous vehicle development, Lyft has focused almost exclusively on passenger transportation within the United States and Canada. From a resource-based perspective, Lyft possesses some valuable assets such as brand recognition and efficient technological interface, but these resources are neither rare nor difficult to imitate. Applying the real model, the analysis is as follows. V for valuable. Yes, due to its solid user base and technological platform. Rare. No, since other companies offer similar services. Inimitable. No, since its model can be easily replicated. Organized to capture value. Partially, since it has not yet fully leveraged its core competencies. Lyft's lack of diversification and international presence limits its ability to grow and adapt to market changes. This structural weakness reduces investor confidence and restricts the company's long-term strategic options. While Uber continues to leverage economies of scale and data integration across services, Lyft faces increasing challenges competing on a level playing field.
The third operational challenge Lyft faces has to do with their market selection and entry mode choice. Lyft has taken a very cautious approach when it comes to expanding internationally. Their conservative approach to market selection means that their international presence is rather limited. Expanding internationally poses several challenges. From an institution-based view, there are several different types of barriers that firms are faced with when they are trying to expand internationally. The first being regulatory barriers, such as foreign policies, licensing, and labor laws that vary from country to country. Another type of barrier that Lyft would encounter would be cultural barriers. The platform Lyft is created as a peer-to-peer platform and is described as a marketplace in which drivers and riders can connect through the application in a fairly informal, self-managed way. However, if Lyft were to expand globally, there would need to be changes made to adapt to local culture, languages, and handle different types of payments, tipping methods, etc. The fourth operational challenge Lyft faces has to do with firm strategy. At the firm level, Lyft cannot compete with competitors due to its size and its inability to diversify. To start, Lyft is geographically challenged, with far less prevalence across the world. Lyft also experiences a lack of expansion in operations. Competitor Uber has expanded far beyond ride-hailing. They have applications such as Uber Eats, Uber Freight, and autonomous vehicle development research. They have valuable, unique, and difficult to imitate resources. Lyft, on the other hand, has stayed largely in the ride-hailing lane. To Lyft's credit, they have tried to implement Porter's generic strategies, particularly through differentiation. You might remember the quirky pink mustaches on cars back in the early days. That branding was all about creating a fun, friendly vibe and building community, while also advocating for safety. However, over time, Lyft scaled back on this operation in order to encompass a more functional approach. Unable to capture the differentiation by losing the pink mustaches, Lyft can also not capture cost leadership, as Uber has deeper pockets and way greater access to capital, making it more difficult for Lyft to compete on price. Finally, Lyft's focus strategy of targeting niche markets has not been successful, as Lyft tends to follow Uber's lead instead of setting the pace and innovation.
For recommendations that I have for Lyft, we've got number 1, which is proactive regulatory strategy and institutional engagement. We also have number 2, which is expanding through strategic partnerships and resource leveraging. For our proactive regulatory strategy and institutional engagement, we've got Lyft risks losing its flexible workforce if drivers are reclassified. Laws are changing so fast in different states, so Lyft needs to engage with lawmakers, not just lobby after the fact. Offering hybrid roles, benefits, and driver councils shows good faith and positions Lyft as a leader. This aligns with the institution-based view, where adapting to formal and informal rules is key to survival. Number 2, which is expanding through strategic partnerships and resource leveraging. We've got a couple bullet points here. Lyft is too limited compared to Uber. Their current assets are good, but they're not good enough for lasting success. Partnerships can help Lyft grow globally without overspending. At home, adding new services can bring in income and boost their competitive edge. And this follows the resource-based view, growing value by improving what Lyft already does so well. For our conclusion, we've got Lyft is at a pivotal moment in its corporate evolution. The current challenges it faces, regulatory instability and resource constraints, are significant, but not something that can't be helped. By adopting a forward-thinking regulatory strategy that aligns with institutional expectations and expands public trust, Lyft can reduce legal uncertainty and preserve its flexible operating model. Simultaneously, by investing in resource optimization through strategic partnerships and service diversification, the company can strengthen its competitive positioning and unlock new paths for sustainable growth. The application of the institution-based view and the resource-based view reveals that Lyft's long-term viability will depend on its agility in responding to external pressures while better utilizing and developing its internal capabilities. With intentional, theory-backed decisions, Lyft can evolve from a regionally focused player to a global innovator in the mobility sector. These strategies, if implemented effectively, will not only help the company survive current challenges, but also set a strong foundation for enduring success in years to come.